Gamer.
Welcome back, sports gamers. It's the Natural. Here's part 2 of my interview with senior gameplay designer on Madden NFL, Clint Olderburg, where we talked about a ton of topics from suction tackling, DBs at linebackers, custom animations for players, and ball carrier moves, and online replays, and much more. If you do enjoy our content here at SGO, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you don't miss more exclusive Madden content just like this. What about like sub linebacker packaging regarding subbing like safeties and DBs into the sub linebacker? Will there be penalties against the run for those players as well?
We didn't add any penalties because we didn't feel like we really needed to after we redid all the blocking stuff in terms of the animations. We saw those guys getting thrown on the ground more. We also limited some of the packages that you could do it in. So I know that there was one in 4-3 that you could put a safety at linebacker. That's not there anymore. So there are more sub defenses that you can do that. I think the thing to call out there that's really important is no matter what position you have a guy subbed in at, what position his real position is, if he's subbed in at linebacker, he's going to be using the same logic we put in for jumping linebacker interception. So whether it's a safety or a linebacker at the linebacker position, they're going to be limited in the types of throws that they're going to be able to reach.
Wow, that's a huge one right there. Yeah. So as far as the abilities, do they change, or they depending on where the player is like subbed in? So let's say if you have, like you said, like a safety with the defensive ability, and you sub him at linebacker, will he still keep his abilities, or will he lose the ability? But
in most cases, they're going to keep their abilities. There's some that are very situational. So, for example, some of the running back abilities that give you extra stuff on, say, outside zone plays. In order for that ability to be activated, that player has to be in as the ball carrier. So you're not going to be able to get it if he's aligned out at a wide receiver or whatever. So it applies in cases like that. But defensively, they're mostly going to be on all the time.
On the defensive side, suction tackling and players getting sucked into animations and tackling, has that been addressed for Madden 20?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That was some feedback we got from our community about tackling last year. We did a lot of work to make it more skill-based. Some of the things we did is make it a lot harder to match a tackle when you're behind. So a lot of times you get a guy diving from 3-4 yards behind and knock your feet out. That's a lot harder to do this year. You are going to have a player who's significantly faster than the guy carrying the ball to be able to get there. We did some work in the strip tackle area, so oftentimes players would just spam the strip button and be able to match a tackle with no risk. There's a lot of risk there now. You're not going to be able to spam that button. If you spam it, you're going to whiff, be out of the play. You are going to have to be close enough to match those from any angle. So there's risk reward in the strip ball tackle and the dive tackles, and then specific to conservative tackles, very similar problem. A lot of players would just spam the button knowing eventually they were going to match an animation. You can no longer spam the conservative tackle button, and you have to be a lot closer to be able to match that. So there's more risk in tackling and more of a skill gap there.
And as far as tackling, one of the hardest things to do was tackling someone who was spamming the spin button last year. Has that been more skill-based as well? Because people feel like the spin was overpowered in Madden 19.
Yeah, spin has been tuned down. I think we have a really nice balance right now with all of our ball carrier moves. And what's really cool about that is you're going to want to know the type of player you have, especially if they hold any superstar abilities, because that's going to be the thing that unlocks the really good special moves. The fake outs on spin move have been reduced heavily, and there's a lot more risk in terms of getting hit. And we actually put that in a title update last year, but you can risk fumbling if you get hit in the middle of like a spin move with a hit stick and things like that. So there's a lot more balance in the ball carrier special move area.
I feel like with the superstar abilities and X factors and all that, it gives you guys the opportunity to really differentiate one player from the next. Are you going to have more individual animations? I know you did the quarterback throwing motions. Are you going to take that to the next level and really have, Marshawn Lynch runs different, than another running back? Or you're going to have, really get into the nitty gritty and show each player individuals animations and how they juke and how they walk and all those type of animations like that to the game?
Yeah, eventually. We actually scratched the surface on that a little bit this year. Again, it was in the blog. If you guys missed it, we are trying out individual locomotion styles or run styles for players. There's 4 players in the game that have a custom/signature run cycle. That's going to be Richard Sherman on the 49ers, Cam Newton of the Panthers, Alvin Kamara of the Saints and Julian Edelman of the Patriots, they have custom run cycles. So check those out. In terms of the special moves, we wanted to go there this year to make signature jukes and spins and hurdles, but when we started watching film, there was nothing that I could see, at least in my hours of study, that Saquon Barkley's juke looks different than Le'Veon Bell's juke. They all look very similar based on the situation. So what we did instead was do a concept of custom animation. So if they have that ability, they're going to get special juke or spin or stiff arm animations that no one else in the game can use, but they're not necessarily signature. Does that make sense?
We saw a little in the last trailer you guys showed, a little dance that Mahomes did, and then been added not just new celebrations, but also, in between after first downs or any other defensive celebrations into Madden 20.
Yeah, like I said on the live stream, with this X Factor feature, we want our superstars to look just as good as they feel. So all of our superstar players and X Factors, we tried to reflect their first down celebrations, touchdown celebrations, whatever it is, to the best of our ability and make them feel just like their real world counterpart. And we're going to continue to expand on that, not only this year, but years into the future. This isn't, I think I heard Jake say it, I'll reiterate, this X Factor vision is not a one-year gimmick type of deal. We feel very strongly that the way to keep improving Madden is to make players feel different, make the star players have to be accounted for in every game. We feel like as you watch an NFL season, each game, especially if it's your favorite team, has a very unique story that gets you hyped about watching that game that week. Madden should be no different. If you're playing against Michael Thomas on the Saints, you should have a different game plan than if you're playing against Le'Veon Bell on the Jets. So we think that that's the right path to making each game feel meaningful and be that chess match that you guys really are wanting.
So speaking a little bit about presentation, are you going to have more specific showing like the injury animations when players get injured on the field? Something you kind of shine away from.
We didn't do much in the injury space this year, except we cleaned up some of those issues we had last year where the injured guy would sometimes get up. Like if he had hurt his leg, he'd get up and kind of run. In some cases, we cleaned that up. I know the franchise team is consistently tuning injuries to make sure that there's more variety happening and things like that, so they continue to do that, but there's not anything necessarily brand new in the injury space, just some cleanup.
As far as the presentation in general, anything new besides what we talked about, the fast to fun, anything in the presentation space that's different? Does crowd noise make a difference in the game more now or anything like that?
We always are updating audio. What you are going to notice is the in-game sounds. You're going to feel and hear those a little bit more. Talking about like when the ball is kicked or when the ball is caught, those kind of mini sounds really come through really nicely. That's a nice little touch from our audio team. But the main thing, you said it. It's fast to fun. Unless there's something really important or really meaningful for us to show you, we want to get you back to playing, and that's the motivation of us making pre-play a little bit shorter. This also extends into post-play or after the play is over. We're not going to show you guys just meaninglessly walking around unless they're going to do something important. So we're going to cut out of there as quickly as possible, get you back to call your play, and then get you back on the sticks. And one thing I do want to note while I'm on here with you is that actually we found is saving our players a good 2 to 3 minutes on average per game, which I know that doesn't sound meaningful in a vacuum, but if you're knocking out 10, 15 games a day, you saved yourself an hour of time while getting the same amount of content in. So we feel really good about that direction, and hopefully we can continue to expand upon that.
So with our online presentation, you now have, we're able to now show instant replays in there. So it shows up in kind of every online mode, but the one that I think could be extra useful is in squads where, there's just generally one play caller and the other two guys in the past have just had to look at random beauty shot. Now they're going to be able to at least see replays of what they just saw on the field.
Well, that is it for today's video. I want to give a special thanks out to Clint Olderburg and the entire Madden team for sitting down and talking to us. I do have more content coming and interviews going over a lot of the details and some unreleased details for Madden 20. If you do appreciate this exclusive content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, turn the notifications on so you don't miss more here at SGO, and follow us on social media for news, tips, and more from all of your favorite sports games. Also, a special shout out to all of our Patreons who have supported us. We're going to have some exclusive tips, exclusive content, and giveaways to them each month. So if you haven't already, click the link below and become a Patreon of SGO today. I'll check you guys out later. This is The Natural. I'm out.